I have maybe it's a bit of a weird video to make, or maybe it's something I shouldn't be doing, but I don't like to build these videos up to much more than they really are, which is sort of a really sort of and I'm not shying away from the subject. I think it's a very individual sort of take on atheism. It's not something to be touted as the holy grail of atheism. And even now I'm kind of getting off course. But anyway, the point being is in my research when it comes to atheism in Canada and atheism elsewhere, there's a in Canada, and I'm not complaining, I'm just stating a fact. Atheism in Canada, it's been a recent census issue as well. It's been based on if households can check off that they are atheist or agnostic or the whole spectrum of religiosity, I guess, except when you hit the bottom of the plate, which is basically atheism. But I would say that without being too funny about it, or without being too absolute about anything, I would say that there's a real lack of prominence of atheism in a country like Canada, and for a good reason too, because I think for many, atheism kind of it's such a non-issue that it sinks below the radar. And I'm not just saying that from a research perspective or from the perspective of some sort of government official or anything. I'm just saying even in the circle of my friends, who I keep referencing because they are who give me my real litmus test when it comes to atheism. It's a non-issue. It's actually a non-issue, and I've come across websites that have touted atheism as some sort of, and I could be wrong here. I can't even remember that website because I just saw the front page and I turned away from it very quickly. But the point about the website is that there was a banner quote, or not even a quote, but basically a banner slogan, basically saying that, and not even really a slogan, really, but. There was this sentence that basically said, well, if you meet an atheist, atheists tend to be more intelligent and well-educated and much, maybe even wealthier, etc., etc., etc. So I would like to kind of dispel that whatever that was, because to me it seems like a generalization. It seems like and I think most atheists don't agree with things that seem a little too, depending on your definition of what an atheist is. I know I have my definition, so I don't care to repeat it. You'll have to watch my videos to understand where I'm coming from. I don't feel that there's some sort of elevated status of an atheist. I think that is actually injecting atheism with ideals that don't generally make a lot of sense. In other words, are you asking me, are there stupid atheists? There could be. I may be even one of them. So all I'm saying is, like, atheism, while it goes under the radar in Canada, it doesn't you can't use it to say that there's a certain class of citizens that are better than anybody else, is what I'm trying to get across. And that website that kind of displayed that thingy, that slogan or whatever it was about atheists being generally smarter and blah blah blah, I feel like that's where things get kind of cut off. There's a certain amount of camaraderie and a certain amount of buddy that will go on amongst atheists. That's with any group. But I think to make such a bold statement on a publicly facing website in terms of atheists are generally smarter, etc., like I said before, is kind of a non-starter. It's but I don't know. The more public figures of atheism tend to be much more intellectual because they've. Well, I could give you a reason. I could say that scholars and theologians and not theologians, sorry, but scholars and academics and people who are very high up there in the ladder in their respective fields are, usually proponents for atheism because they're a little bit more accustomed to battling all the intricacies of an atheist argument, which is kind of necessary in the face of a large religious following. So I'd say maybe that's where it kind of comes across, but otherwise I don't think that an atheist is necessarily highly intellectual or has a high IQ, or as some sites may suggest. So I don't know, take it or leave it. This is, I know I'm coming to you from an atheist channel on the internet as well, so a variety of opinions is always very important, especially when it comes to what an atheist may or may not hold as very true in terms of argument and study, etc., which I need to do more of, by the way. But yeah, that's my thing on that. Okay, bye.